My entire goal is just to annoy the game into giving us a great one by making terrible moose puns every single time we do this. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. What's up, bottom boy? No worries, bad pun in the title? That are gonna be... what? That's gonna be a fine of all bucks on your property. Now I got you. It's okay, they don't exist. Actually, Friday... How did that work? I think it was Friday. December 1st, whenever that was. I hunted here in the evening. I walked by the trail camera we have, like, kind of going back into the woods at 5:17, I think. And then my target buck was there at 5:53. So we're close. He's almost daylighting. I'm hoping Kyla's going out tonight. Obviously, I'm streaming at regular time. This will be the first day I haven't hunted since the beginning of Rifle. But I can't just forever postpone streams and move stuff around. So Kyla's gonna hunt tonight. Hopefully he'll slip up. And maybe she can smoke him. If she does, I would be willing to bet we'll hear the shot. Is that the gun we want? It is. And away we go. Finally able to catch your stream. Welcome on in, man. Hopefully it'll be a good one. Maybe we can even have the great one look on our side for once. That guy's gonna go down. That's not the one that we shot. Where was he at? That'll get him. And maybe we got 3. Killed my biggest buck on the second. Yep, it's a 10 point, 18 1/4 inches wide. Nice, man. Congrats. How many inches do you think your target buck is? The one I'm talking about probably would gross in the area of 120. There is like or was anyway, like a 140 inch 9 point. I haven't seen him in a long time. But the main reason that I'm calling like this particular one my target buck, I named him Junior. He is, I mean, the frame is like identical to my 180 I shot in 2021, so it would be neat for that reason to get him. It would also be neat to see him survive, because, you know, he makes it to 5 years old. If his grandpa or whatever was a 180, who knows what he ends up as. Bottom boy, thank you for the 38 months, by the way, welcome back. Hoping for a big shoes to IRL. My brother was saying last night, I don't know if he phrased it rather strangely, but he said, like, you want to know the worst part or something? And I was like, what? He goes, you're probably still going to get a buck. And I'm like, okay, why is that bad? But, it has, you know, the bucks that I've gotten in the past have been this particular week of the season, so hopefully it'll work. Danny, thank you for the super chat. $2 to not talk about the NFL today for both of us. Yeah, goodness gracious. At least your team looked competitive. I guess my team lost their quarterback, but they sure didn't look competitive after that. Can you give me a map to hunt by chance? Normally we used to do Medved and links every time someone would ask that. Maybe we'll switch it up today. What about... Virunga seems like a good map to hunt. What about that? Missed anything cool? Nothing to speak of. Mine is getting stuck. Hi from Germany. What's going on, man? Welcome on in. Got me a 10 point with a 120 inch spread. There you go. Think you'll get a 160s buck? I mean, I wouldn't entirely rule it out because I didn't know the 180 existed till the day I shot it. But, okay, maybe we're not going to get out of here. The difference that year was we had just bought the property and only had 1 trail camera out. We have, I don't even know, 6? 7? Kyla just walks by and corrects me. What's up, Kermit? Heard the angler update's like next week. Boy, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been out of the loop as far as angler stuff. What even is said angler update? All kinds of big males. This is the problem, like we've started leaving small 2s and stuff. And then they just populate our spots. Shot my PB black bear this day last year, hoping for another 400 pounder today. Holy, 400 pounder, nice man. That would be what they call a big male in the business. We've had, over the years, like at my dad's farm, we've had a couple that we think would be in that area. And it's inevitable. Every time one that big shows up on camera, it's like shockingly large. Bottom fishing Spain legendaries. Okay. We'll see what happens. You said next week, right? I can't even find it. Like next week. Okay, yeah. Maybe I'll actually get to mess with that a little bit, since Rifle will be over. Still gonna have some stuff going on, but we'll see. Looks like... Which one do we shoot? He's not gonna die, whichever one. Should I bring venison out? Boy, good question. I guess. I never even thought of that. That's basically what my whitetail grind is, 85% level 1s. Discouraging to say the least. Yeah, it's... I don't know, there's probably a proper way to do it. Like you only leave level 1s in certain spots or whatever. But I'm too impatient for that. Just bought the 9.3x74R in Classic. Nice. I almost brought that on the hunt I recorded today. That's going to be tomorrow's video. Had a pretty wild excursion on typical trails. There were big males all over the place, it seemed. But, that is... Actually, I guess I used a caliber of that. I used the drilling combo gun. But the over-under one of my all-time favorite rifles in the game. It's about as good as it gets. Venison tacos? There you go. Never got a pick of him. He just walked in at 17 yards and smoked him with a bow. Hey, whatever works. Will and I were having this conversation, I don't know, maybe 3-4 days ago. You'll hear this, like, you know, back in the good old days type of thing about hunting and how trail cams have ruined it and everything. The only part of that I'll kind of get on board with is... Thanks for that. You know, it is nice to just be completely surprised and not know what's out there. But at the same time, if you know what's out there, you can make more prudent decisions about, like, you know, I'm going to pass this 100-inch 2-year-old because I know I have 3 over 110 on the farm or something like that. Anyway, what I'm getting at is those surprise ones that you don't even know are there. They are still some of the coolest things you can have happen in the hunting sphere, we'll call it. Any more trespassing scum buckets? Actually, yeah. Unless you've already heard about this, I don't think you have. Saturday, we were hunting at my mom and dad's place in the same blind that we've been in. You know, the place where Kyler shot her first doe back in 2021. We're sitting there, seeing a couple of deer, not very many, and all of a sudden Kyler looks over. She goes, "Hey, there's orange." I'm like, "Well, that's not good." So this guy just comes marching up, you know, onto the property, doing whatever he wants to do. And I know he saw us in the blind. Like, he looked over, I guarantee he could see our orange, and he still just kept on walking. And then I got out to go tell him to get out of there, and like everybody else, as soon as he saw me moving, he ran away. They're so pathetic. Saw a massive red deer stag on my trail cam today, around 380. I wish I understood the SCI stuff more. Give me a... I don't even know what is actually going to help me here. What? Is there like a Call of the Wild comparison? That's the closest thing I could think of that we'd both somewhat easily understand. What'd you do to that musk deer for it to hit you? Well, I shot its friend back when we shot our first time in almost, good lord, 7 years ago? That's why I really enjoy the out-of-state hunts. No clue what's out there, and any buck is fair game. There's that side of it, and then the other thing that I really enjoy is, like, more so when I get to go hunt with, like, you in West Virginia, or going to hunt with Aaron this year in Indiana. I get to see kind of how other people do it. Because one thing that, like, kind of always has fascinated me is, like, how hunting means something different, excuse you, to different people. Like, to some people, it's going out the first day, sitting there for a couple hours, going back to deer camp, and that's that. To some people, it's a 2-week straight grind. To some people, it's, you know, walk 40 yards off the road. To some people, it's walk 3 miles back. I always enjoy, like, the different approaches to it. But it is nice to be like, I don't have to be perfect and find that one buck that I'm after. If I can get to a spot where a buck comes by, it can be, you know, that's a target buck, basically. What did I say? I made a post. That might have been for Tennessee, I think. I said something like my target buck was anything and I still couldn't find him. Just shot a melanistic Mexican bobcat. Nice. Did you by chance shoot a great one red deer yesterday? The only melanistic Mexican bobcat I ever shot was the day after our great one red deer. Around level 7 or 8 in Call of the Wild. I was kind of, that was, what I'm imagining, and I'm probably way wrong, is somewhere in that realm, so maybe I've got the right, you know, general size. What's been happening? We are pretty much just running around, trying to get our bearings again. We may go to Layton Lakes at some point, by the way, during today's stream. We'll see. Just, you know, trying to get used to the route again and figure out where all our meese are. I know you said this before, but the property is posted. Yes, my parents' property is. I don't post my property here. Like, you still, Pennsylvania, you do need permission to go onto private property, whether it's posted or not. The reason I don't post it is I'm trying not to make enemies with, like, the neighbors and the hunting club and stuff, because, I mean, for one, I already shot the big male the year I moved in, and I know they didn't find that very funny. But there's aspects, especially the hunting club, like, they do, every year they plant corn up there, which is obviously keeping the deer fed, and, you know, like I said, I'm just trying not to make enemies to where they decide, like, they're going to actively trespass when I'm not around or something, like, wait till they see my truck's gone. But at my dad's place, we have a purple paint law, so, like, if you paint a tree with, like, a strip of purple paint, I think it's gotta be 3 inches wide and 8 inches long or something, that's effectively being posted. On top of all the old posted signs that are still there. We had just redone that Thanksgiving Day. So, like, I promise the paint isn't faded away or anything. He saw it, he just walked right by it. Are you on my side in regards to Tomlin needs to go yet? I think that we're gonna win that game just fine if Kenny doesn't get hurt. Now, whether, you know, whether it's an indictment on Tomlin for them not being able to do anything after Kenny went out is another question, but I think it's, you don't just fire a coach who's consistently at least keeping you in playoff contention without at least having an idea of who you're going to go to next. Like, look at Brandon Staley. He's coaching, like, potentially one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time. He's supposed to be a defensive coach. And they just lose all the time. Like, it's a dicey gesture to just yeet your head coach out when you're generally being successful. I get what you're saying, like, if it's, I see it all the time in Pittsburgh, like, Facebook groups, whatever. Like, our standard isn't no losing seasons, it's rings. Like, okay, yeah, but 31 teams are gonna fail at that every single year. So it's tough, I don't know. I think a fresh face could be good, but I'm not willing to say get rid of them and then just hire anybody. There's gotta be a solution to it. Super Bowl predictions. Oh boy, not the Chiefs anymore. That's even, I don't know. I think last night really kind of hammered that home, but I think I'd have maybe even said that, who did they beat? They beat the Raiders. So after the Philadelphia loss, there's just some inconsistency there that I think is going to bite them in the playoffs. My problem is I can't pick someone out of the AFC. Maybe Baltimore? I just don't trust Lamar in the playoffs either. I guess they would be my most likely choice, so we'll go Baltimore out of the AFC. Actually, let's just do a 2012 rematch. Baltimore or San Francisco. Sorry in advance of Shadow Barks. It'd be nice if she doesn't, but we'll see. Niners, Ravens. There we go. A lot of us are going that route. I mean, it's kind of the obvious choice, right? I know the Niners aren't the #1 seed in the NFC, but you look at the team. They are, I would say, as long as they're not injured, because, you know, they did have that stretch of 3 games in a row of dropping all those. I think they're pretty clearly the best team in the league. And then, you know, Dallas, Philadelphia. Is there anybody else in the NFC that really is going to compete? If I thought about it, I guess Detroit, but I don't think they can hang. Yeah, we'll just go with Dallas and Philadelphia. Hello there. So, was it the tent being torn down when we fast traveled that screwed that up? There's a lodge not too far away. We're just gonna... Do I have tents on me? Nope. We're just gonna go replace that tent real quick, because I kind of need that. Anyway. Yeah, I think, you know, Philly could take out the Niners on the right day. I think Dallas maybe could on the right day. But I think they're just the most likely to get there out of the NFC. Niners, Dolphins. Here's the problem with the Dolphins. I don't think that style that they play really translates in playoff football very well. Maybe it does, but like when you look at how they lost to Philly, when you look at how they lost to Buffalo and stuff, I think when you look at potentially colder weather, unless they get the home field advantage throughout, that's one thing. But if they got to go and play colder weather where their speed isn't as big a factor, I just don't think it's going to work out well for them. Wait. Did you know you need to bring tents with you if you want to put up a tent? Sweetness, what's going on, man? Thank you for the 27 months. Happy Monday. Streaming time and Monday Night Football tonight. Who's playing? I know it's the Jags. That was the one team I did know, unfortunately. Oh, the Bengals. Never mind. Yeah, I got the Jags winning that one in my picks video. I would like them to win that one, because at least it all but ensures the Steelers stay out of the basement of the AFC North. All right, let's stitch those. Bring our little fancy ones. Now the quad's down there. I'm also going to turn down the audio this time because that was getting really loud. Okay. 49ers aren't known for playing good in the playoffs. I would kind of disagree with that. They've been to the championship game pretty much every year they've had a healthy QB since like 2019 or something. Like, you got to roll out last year because Brock Purdy got hurt and he was already their third quarterback of the year. So it's not as if that was really an indictment on the Niners for not having a better quarterback situation. And then you got, what, Josh Johnson, I think it was? 2021, what even happened in 21? I can't remember. I think they beat the Packers in 2020? No. Well, I can't remember. Anyway. Just, you know, they haven't won a Super Bowl in recent years, but they've won plenty of playoff games just for me to think, like, yeah, they could do it. Okay. With Burrow out, it shouldn't be close. In theory, you know, it should be fairly straightforward. The games I've seen of the Jags lately, they've kind of stopped doing that thing where they just constantly turn it over in the red zone. So as long as they don't do that, I think they'll be fine. Obviously, what guns did I get rid of? 243 and 22. Obviously, the Bengals are going to play a style where they, you know, they attempt to win a really low-score game in whatever way that may be achieved. So, don't turn it over in the red zone. They should be just fine. Is Bryce Young a bust? He's not in a great situation. You know, like, his main weapon is a aging Adam Thielen. He's played well. I don't know. I think you get him in the right offense. He's kind of like, who would be a good example of this? Oh, I don't know. Not Trent Dilfer. That's an insult. There's not a good or great example of it. He's going to run your offense, and as long as, like, if he's with Kyle Shanahan, I bet he wins 11 games. Maybe next year. As a rookie, he may be making some mistakes. But let's say year 2, I think in a Kyle Shanahan type offense, where guys are schemed open, he can do just fine. But he's really not, you know, put the team on his back and carry like CJ Stroud has already been doing. So, depending on what they drafted him for, he may be a bust. Has so little to work with? Yeah, that's really not helping his case. Kind of like RG3, but he doesn't get hurt. He's also not much of a runner, though. Are there ways to get over level 60? I saw a few players in multiplayer at higher levels. I think they were cheating. They were, in fact, cheating, or at least, like, using some type of mod or whatever. I've been in multiplayer servers where people are over level 60 and, like, they don't appear to be actively cheating. If you join the server and the host is above level 60, you probably at least want to keep an eye out for, like, you know, an overly high amount of diamonds, rares, whatever, because that, you know, they may, if they're the host, they may be spawning stuff in or have changed spawn rates. Max score for Bighorn, it might be 174. Maybe 176, somewhere in there. Gonna leave that guy alone, because small males don't get no airtime around here. Alright, 15, goodness, the time goes so fast. Let's go, I guess we'll check here again. Nothing seems to be spawning here anymore. Is that him? Yeah. I haven't seen a moose here in a long time. Can we agree that CJ is just the best rookie? I don't think there's an argument for it at this point. I mean, he's probably already better, at least at the rate he's playing. Probably already better than I don't know, 18, 20 NFL quarterbacks killing this weekend IRL. I hope so. Do you think the Seahawks will get any more wins? I wouldn't be shocked if they steal one of these. Who do they have? Is it Philly next and then the Niners again? Or is it Niners then Philly? Must be Niners then Philly because Philly's playing Dallas. I don't think they're beating the Niners. I think they could beat Philly, but I don't know that they will. They got Pittsburgh yet. They'll probably win that one. They'll get another win or two, but I don't think they're making the playoffs. What have I missed? Nothing to speak of. We've just been going along shooting meese. I just said earlier that there hasn't been a moose here in forever. There's 2 bulls, so that was nice. Hey, what's up, Layton? Got my first diamond? What'd you get? What do you think about not getting a new map? I think it is going to make content in the next couple of months a little more difficult than it normally is. As far as, you know, what it means for the game, or, you know, what the average player should think. I guess if they have, because I think they said there's some other stuff. You know, there's other content they're looking to release in the next couple of months, basically. Depending on what that is, you know, maybe it ends up being okay. But one reason, in my opinion, that Call of the Wild has been so successful over the last 6-7 years is the consistent rate of new, fresh content. And I think, you know, why you see some of the, what would you call it, the boredom, I guess, with the game in some ways, is you look at the last couple of maps we got. Emerald Coast was good. New England didn't really help us much. What was the one between? Reventilli was very good. Mississippi was kind of meh. So it's really only been like one good map a year anyway for a little bit. So we'll see what the next one is and stuff. But yeah, I wish there was a new map. I wish there were new species to go after and stuff. We just got to that point again where we have all the diamonds in the game. So we're at this point of like, well, I guess we'll go for great ones. So I don't know. Like, it depends on what they release, basically. Lose to Dallas, hopefully. So I haven't decided who I'm picking for that game yet. I probably want to see if there's any injuries that we don't know about. Like Jalen Hurts had that concussion protocol or whatever he had to go through last night, yesterday afternoon, whatever. I may pick Dallas. I really might. I said I was going to pick Dallas for the first game if it was in Dallas, and obviously it wasn't. We'll see. I'm kind of leaning towards Dallas winning that one. They've got a tough stretch, though. I think Philly's still going to end up with the #1 seed. I thought Dallas may win that division, but I think it's maybe only this game, and I guess you could say the Seattle game for Philly. The rest of their schedule's kind of easy now. So I think they'll be okay. Alright. The Meese don't like us. What's the loadout today? We're running with the 300. We have the 44 lever action. I don't know if we'll use it. We might. 243 and 22. Almost died today. Oh goodness, that's not good. Glad you're still here as well. Thoughts on the Eagles security and 49ers player getting thrown out? There seems to be a lot of confusion about like, hey, that's a security guard. He's supposed to do that. Like, very clearly he's not supposed to do that. So, I mean, I guess if they're going to chuck Greenlaw, they got to chuck, what was his name? Dom saying something? I don't mind that they chucked Greenlaw. Like, he threw a punch, basically. He didn't initiate the contact. Like, the security guy stepped in the way, essentially. But, yeah, I mean, Greenlaw definitely shouldn't have been doing that. And the security guy definitely shouldn't have been putting himself in that situation. So I think it's kind of okay that both got tossed. It was one of those things where, like, realistically, Greenlaw shouldn't have had to navigate that. But because he did, I don't think he navigated it well. Yay, we get to do some retrieving. How far do you think the Ravens will make in the playoffs? What seed are they right now? Because it's all, everybody's the same. It's like Jags, Miami, Ravens all in the same stew. I think if the Ravens get the #1 seed, I'd say they lose in the championship to whoever they play. If it's the 2 or the 3 seed, I'd need to see how everything shakes out. Because I think Cleveland could maybe beat them again. I don't think Pittsburgh would beat them again. Not in Baltimore. And who would be the other seed? Houston? I think Houston could beat them. What's up, Cedric? I should have added said no one ever. I'm missing something here. Okay. I think we're at a point where we can send her to go get the Caper Kaylee. We will try to find our moose. Refs completely ruined the Sunday night game. That was a mess. I mean, the hit on Mahomes was a bad call. That obviously wasn't unnecessary roughness. And then Mahomes threw the pick the next play anyway, so that kind of canceled itself out, I guess. And then, what was it, the very next drive? They had, like, the most obvious DPI in NFL history and don't call it. There was something in the middle of that, too, I think. Oh, was it MVS? He had that catch, and his forward progress was stopped, like, immediately. And he went out of bounds backwards, not under his own power, so that's maybe what they tried to rule. But he never established any forward progress, and they stopped the clock. Like, the whole thing was just... They whiffed, like, 3 calls in the last 4 minutes, and it just made the whole... It was almost like the Super Bowl all over again. It just left a bad taste in everybody's mouth, like, a good ending was just ruined. How's the hunt going? Not too bad, X. We're killing more bulls than I thought we were going to. Think the Bills will make the playoffs? Probably not. Who do they got left? There's a couple of wins on their schedule yet. They have the Chiefs next week. I'm kind of leaning towards picking the Bills in that one. Then they got the Cowboys. That should be interesting. Chargers, I think they'll beat. Patriots, I know they lost to them once, but I think they'll beat them. Dolphins in Miami. Depends on if anybody's resting their starters. So I got them going 9-8, basically, looking at that. No. I think they're going to be one short. If they can pull off both of those next two, Dallas and KC, maybe. But they've sort of had that tendency to just have something go wrong this year. Who's your favorite NFL player? Probably Cam Hayward. He's just like... He was a first-round pick all the way back in 2011. You never hear a peep of him, like, you know, wanting to go ring chasing or anything like that. He's been like a consummate professional, and he's just like a... what's the word? Model stealer, basically. I gotta get me a Cam Hayward jersey before he retires. He might be one that they sell his jersey after he retires. But he's like an unsung hero with that team. Do you have a Diamond European Bison? Yes. Got, I think only one since they added True Rags, but we've got a couple in the lodge. Did you ever watch Ben's podcast? Yeah, I haven't lately. It's kind of been an off-season thing for me. Like, I watched a whole bunch of it over the summer. And then, like, the one with Batch was good. With both Coach Cower and Tomlin, those ones are good. James Harrison, all those. I don't watch their, like, just him and Spence. Just because I don't usually have a couple hours to put into it. But there's been some good episodes. Did we go here yet? I don't think we did. Snakehead, thank you for the super chat, by the way. I believe Jaxy said they're going to add stuff before the new map, hoping for a new animal to be one of them. See, that would be, in my opinion, that would be the one way to save it. Maybe some backfilling, but primarily a new animal, or even two, if it could be done. I still say Doll Sheep. Still think they should be on Yukon. Feels like they would generally have the ability to do that. You know, they've got some of the... Like, I feel like they could take existing models and stuff and kind of work from there. I don't know how that works. Maybe that's not how you make models. And then, what would be... You could do any number of, like, small game and stuff. But as far as big game animals go... Could you fit... Maybe I'm in the wrong area. Where are Tool Elk? Aren't they, like, deserty area? I don't know if they'd fit on Rancho. With how many moose you've hunted and not gotten any great ones, I wonder if your update works? I would just say generally we've been unlucky. I wouldn't say we've killed like an absurd number of moose. We're over 4,000. I actually don't even know the count anymore. I wouldn't even be able to hazard a guess. But it's the way it goes. Like, We haven't killed that many diamonds, which is obviously, you know, saying something. If we're not killing a lot of diamonds, we're probably not giving ourselves the best luck. They should add squirrels to Layton. If they could program squirrels to like interact with trees and stuff properly, I think it'd be pretty cool. Give the retrievers another thing to do. Got a Von Miller day before. What are you saying? My brother got a Von Miller. I am confused. I'll give Matt Milano my legs so he can play the rest of the season. That's one reason I think they've, you know, I don't want to say found ways to lose necessarily, but major impactful players like that, at some point they're probably going to be the difference between a win and a loss here or there. Like I kind of think Kenny going out was probably the nail in the Steelers' coffin yesterday, but something else that didn't help them, their third middle linebacker of the year went down, and I kind of think he's going to miss, actually maybe even Tomlin might have said today he's going to miss the Thursday night game. Like when you lose those top communicators, it can throw off the entire balance of everything. Got a Von Miller jersey? Oh. Yeah, I feel like you got to get those jerseys like either after the trade deadline, like a Christmas gift can work, or right when the season starts. Still could get traded. The way my jerseys went over the years. My dad got a Heath Miller jersey. That's the only Steelers jersey he's ever had, to my knowledge. Retired a Steeler. My brother got a Hines Ward jersey. I think he also had a Roethlisberger jersey, both retired Steelers. I had a Willie Parker jersey. This would have been the year after they won the Super Bowl, I think, in 05. He was gone by like 07. Then I got a Santonio Holmes jersey. Was wearing it when he made the toe tap catch. He was gone like the next year. Then I got an Antonio Brown jersey in like 2016. He was there for a couple years. And then he went crazy. Now I've got a TJ Watt jersey, so we'll see where that leaves us. Miss Tyreek being a Chief? Yeah, you know, it's starting to... It doesn't have to be him necessarily, but they just need somebody a little more explosive, like just... You see that offense is out of sorts all the time. I think Mahomes doesn't trust MVS or whoever he may be looking at any given time. That's messing stuff up a little bit. But this is the first year, it's just tangible. You can just tell there's something missing. Justin, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Look at that timing. Right when the alert came through. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support. Are we having the MOOST fun today? We will be if we find a great one. You allowed to do the Call the Wild comp? What do they call that? I know what you're talking about. I think I'm allowed to do it. I've never bothered with it, but... Apex Hunter? Is that the one? Where are European bison at? Largely the southeast of Hirschfelden. So there's an area called Tischenau. Schoenfeld, I think, has some. Spreeberg has some. There's another area I'm missing, too. But if you go to all the lakes during their drink time, I think they drink from 10 to 1300. It's a long drink time. You'll find a whole bunch of them all through the southeast. Why can't you spot birds sometimes? Are they at a distance by chance? Anyone had buggy lakes not showing the water? I've had the water effect look wrong. I haven't seen it not show the water. I don't even know how the competitions work, to be honest with you, Loungefly. I just kind of... The main thing of it is, I have a hard time hunting like the same thing over and over again. It's kind of why we haven't done as much Great One grinding lately. If you watch the videos, I'm sure you'll notice, like I'll go from Virhunga one day to New England to Layton. I just like to bounce around and just hunt different stuff. That's one reason I don't do those competitions. With Canada gone, I hope the Steelers offense bounces back despite Kenny being injured. I think with a week of prep, Mitch will look better. It's against a Patriots defense that's very good. Frankly, if I were them, I would factor in a good bit of Mitch running. I think that you need, like, legit, you might need 9 points. I think you can beat the Patriots with 3 field goals. So if you can get Mitch to scramble a couple times for 10, 12, 14 yards, 1 or 2 plays on that drive after that, assuming DasBiel doesn't miss, you're pretty much, I think you're good. So I think they're going to factor in some Mitch running this week. Speaking of DasBiel missing, it always amazes me. He has the most clutch factor of almost any kicker I've ever seen. You know, he's up there with some of the all-time great clutch kickers, but he has this amazing ability when they're losing, when it's bad, he's going to miss. Like yesterday. There was a game against the Jets, I remember. I don't know, 3-4 years ago, they were getting beat. Kind of surprisingly, the Jets weren't very good. And he lined up for like a 30-some yard field goal and whiffed. It's what they do. For whatever reason, if there's no pressure whatsoever, if it's just like, make this, maybe we have a chance, he's going to miss. Chargers beat him with 2 field goals, they did, but they had their starting quarterback, so their offense at least was able to kind of keep the defense off the field a little bit. That's why I think New England might get 2 field goals or 1 touchdown on Thursday. Best kicker, Justin Tucker? I don't know, man. Is Younghoe Koo now has the highest made field goal percentage in NFL history? I think Tucker's finally starting to... I think he's kind of past his prime. He's still... I would still say he's the best ever. But the way things are looking lately with Tucker, he doesn't quite have that insane edge that he always had. You think the Patriots are ever going to be good again? Yeah, at some point they will be. I think you can't... Like, when you find the recipe for, like, being a successful franchise, not like... Nothing against the Rams. They're still playing pretty well. But the Rams, I would almost say, went all in, not randomly won a Super Bowl, but they went out and kind of bought already proven talent. They didn't really home grow much of it. I think generally the Patriots have homegrown most of their talent. So I think, whether it's a quarterback change, whether it's making Bill Belichick no longer the GM, whether it's firing Bill Belichick, I think there's enough people in that organization that have seen what success looks like for 25 years that they'll be able to emulate that in some form. They're not going to go on another 6-ring in 20-year run, but they'll be back, in playoff contention in the next 5 years. Justin, thanks for becoming a Shusty as well. Really appreciate that. If you're not in the Discord, be sure to join that. Link up your YouTube, get the member roll. You're not a tracking dog. What am I doing? Anyway, get the member roll and make the most of all that stuff. Enjoy the green name and emojis in chat. Rams won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Now they trash. Oh, they did. They did beat the Browns. Did anybody watch that game? Can somebody? We didn't have it, and I haven't gotten to go back and watch the highlights yet. It was 20-19, and then the Rams scored a touchdown, made it 27-19, and it ended like 38-19 or something. Like, was it a pick 6 and then a safety, or like what in the world happened? Have you done a duck grind? I guess if you count my widgeon hunting, but that wasn't a grind per se. What are you doing up there? It says she's searching to retrieve, and maybe she's just stuck. Are the things in different positions for the retriever versus the bloodhound? Is Zappy a good backup? He has... Who's almost like a, maybe a Gardner Minshew, or there's another guy that like flashed in my mind. I can't think who I was thinking of. But he does seem to kind of galvanize the team when he comes off the bench. Usually he'll lead a scoring drive or two somewhere along the way. I don't think he's a guy you want in there for an extended period of time, but Heineke. I think guys that can come off the bench and maybe play a game or two, they can really get the team behind them. But extended stretch, like say if you're the Colts and your starting quarterback goes out week 5, I don't think you want Zappy starting the next 12 games. Over 300 in chat. Holy, I appreciate you guys stopping in. I'm just over here talking football like a complete goob. Remember that game when Mac Jones got hurt, then Zappy played good for one game and everyone thought he was good? I don't remember what game that was. I remember they lost to the Bears, and Zappy played a good chunk of that game. You know what? It was the game before that, right? And then Zappy threw like 2 touchdowns against the Bears early. He was looking good, and then it all fell apart. What map we're on? Medved Taiga. I'd like to say that my bloodlust for the Eagles has been, is that meant to be satiated? Maybe stated as a word. By the Niners? We were, a couple of nice moves out here. We processed our own deer. So we were doing my brother's wife's buck and then the first doe that I shot last Sunday. We were cutting them up. I brought the laptop downstairs. We do it in the garage. So we just had the laptop up on the workbench, and we were just kind of watching the game and cutting up deer. And the Steelers were playing terrible. Sure didn't help that Kenny Pickett and Landon Roberts got hurt. Anyway, my brother's wife wasn't helping. She was just upstairs watching the game. And I came up and the game was already over. I think CBS was covering, might have just been their post-game show by then. And I was just like, hey, do you care if I switch it to the Niners-Eagles game? She was like, no. And I said, hey, maybe 2 good teams will be playing on the field this time since the Steelers sure didn't show up. And I think the Eagles are good, but it sure didn't look like 2 good teams. Not by the second half, anyway. The Bills better win? Better win. They were on a bye this week, right? Had a good game against the Browns with 309 yards? Maybe I don't remember that one. Are you going to do a live tour at the end of the year? Yes, I had intended to do one like back in July. I'm trying to think how that worked. What was the... Oh, Emerald Coast came out. And it didn't take me terribly long to get all the diamonds there. Maybe that was by July. Oh, we had the Fallow Great One grind that ended in July. I think that's what happened. So I was... Basically, my plan was, when I got all the diamonds in the game, I was going to do a lodge tour. And then it took forever to get the Widgeon and Bobcat. And we're close enough to the end of the year that I figured we'd just put it off. But yes, lodge tour... I'll have to look. Do we usually do it December 31st or do we usually do it January 1st? Whatever order we do that in, normally we'll do that again. Best spot for lions on Tickamoon Plains? I won't lie. I'm not lying. I don't know many really good spots. I don't have a 5-star lion yet. I actually haven't killed a rare lion. Someone in here probably would have a better answer than me. Hey, there's pizza. Imagine being this bad to not find it yet. Why don't you go scald yourself with some tea? Wonder what an AI-generated map would look like for Call of the Wild? You know, I wonder... What was that game? There was a space game. Not Starfield. I can't think of the name of it. There was some space exploration game that had, like, infinitely generated planets and maps, essentially, and stuff. And I've always wondered if that could be a thing in a hunting game, because can you imagine? Like, if it could be relatively convincing and stuff, as far as, you know, looking realistic and feeling realistic. The amount of endless gameplay. No Man's Sky, yes, thank you. It could be incredible, like... It would be, we were talking earlier about, like, hunting out of state and hunting public land and stuff. It could kind of be the equivalent of never-ending out-of-state adventures to go on. You don't know what the land's going to look like, you don't know what might be out there, you maybe know what species are there. But that would be about it. I'd love that. In a way, kind of the Hunter Classic-esque. I'd like random... You'd have to do, I guess. Like random spawns every time, too. Could be awesome. Killed a 7-point from my first buck. Congrats. I want to know, have you killed a 9 legendary... Is that meant to be red deer? If so, yes. Where? I think we went here and there was nothing there yet, so let's try this again. Got a 5-star wildebeest. Nice. I love those. We only had the one. It was... I think we killed it on the first day of early access. The video maybe came out the second day. I can't remember how that worked out. But I haven't had one since. They look incredible, though. What's a good map to buy for Way the Hunter? Tickamoon Plains is obviously really good. Aurora Shores, they're adding melanistic caribou. So if that interests you, that would be something to look at. Trying to think of, like, as far as new content and stuff. Tickamoon Plains is obviously newer. The story's pretty good on Tickamoon Plains as well. I feel like Tickamoon's got, like, better replayability and stuff. Aurora, you know, it depends. Do you want Africa or Alaska better? I think I would leave it at that. Is Alaska or Africa better for Way the Hunter? Well, I feel like at the end of the day, you'll have to make that decision for yourself. Personally, they each have a problem for me. Alaska / Aurora Shores is too small. The biggest thing you run into is because, like, I feel like animals... There's almost no private land other than the rainforest in the southeast, but animals kind of have, you know, their certain ranges. Like caribou are mostly in the northeast. You get them in the center of the map too. Obviously, the best elk and Sitka hunting and Kodiak's in the southeast. Moose are mostly just on those two rivers, and bison kind of too. So there's very little like exploring necessary on any given hunt on Aurora Shores, and then on Tickamoon. Weirdly enough, I almost feel like there's too many animals and they live too long. Like, these things that live for 20, 25 years is really hard to effectively manage anything. Should I get the weapon pack for the 6.5 Creedmoor? If it's a gun that, like, if it's a caliber you like, maybe a caliber you hunt with in real life or something like that, and you want to use it in game, then definitely. It is, I wouldn't say it's any better than like the existing 308 monoblock or anything like that. It's not a gun where I'm like, I'm bringing this because it's the best gun. I bring it because I think it sounds cool, basically. I'd love to have a 2-scale playable replica of the United States in a game, or at least major cities a la GTA, but full details. It's one of those things, kind of Red Dead-esque in a way. It's amazing I killed a deer in 2019. The reason I say that, GTA released, no, not GTA, Red Dead released for PC, like, ended November 2019, and there were a couple of mornings I just skipped hunting because I stayed up too late playing Red Dead. I was just obsessed with that game. And the reason I bring that up is I feel like whatever game they may do, like that type of replica thing you're talking about, Bottom Boy, I would probably get stuck playing it for hours on end. There's something about like those open worlds that are really immersive. You can't put it down. It's like, what's around this corner? What if I do this mission? What does this unlock? There's just so much. There's so much to it, and it feels so authentic. Should have used the 44 there. Way the Hunter's usually after deer season, first of the year or after? I'm looking for... Oh, yeah. Is that in response to the when are you getting back on Way the Hunter? Yeah. I mean, we did just have a video on it. And Friday we streamed it. And then we had a video on it Thursday, I think. But other than that, I'm guessing we won't get to it this week. This is the last week of our rifle season, so other than today, I'll be probably out every single day of the week trying to fill deer tags. The following week's going to be kind of busy. I'm going to be prepping content for when we go to Georgia for the holidays. My sister's getting married in the middle of all that, so that definitely isn't going to make life any easier. But, yeah, maybe I'll get at least one Way the Hunter video prepped for that out-of-town part of things, but we'll definitely get way more into Way the Hunter, managing our mule deer herds for those new rags, looking for melanistic caribou, aging our melanistic moose. Like January 1st and beyond, I should have way more time for that stuff. Do you hunt 2-season bow. If that's, do you bow hunt? Yes. If it's not, I'm misunderstanding something. An albino white-tailed white hunter, now it's gone? Oh no. Was it mature or something by chance? Could it have died of old age? What's up, Easy Play? Oh yeah, we never got to check this spot because we were stuck. Darn sisters. I know, they're always getting married in hunting seasons, and ask Bottom Boy, he knows. Are you doing herd management? I guess by definition, if I'm leaving small level 2s, maybe I am. I'm not like stacking or what do they call them? There's like, oh, I remember somebody told me it. There's nope, can't think of it. There's zones where you kill stuff and zones where you like try to make all your level 1s go or something. I'm not doing anything complicated like that. If I see a level 1 moose, I don't shoot it. It's pretty much as simple as that. Have you ever played G100 2005? Yes, there's actually a series of me playing that on this channel. It was kind of cool too, like, there was a learning curve to it. I had played it, you know, way back in, I'd imagine 2005, 2006. I don't know when we got the game. My brother and I went together and bought it on eBay. And we played the heck out of it. I mean, we played it so much. But then, yeah, whatever, 15 years later when I did the series, I had to relearn it. And by the end, we killed a world record whitetail. We also killed, what's really cool, it was in the same year I killed my 180. I think it was 186 was the Deer Hunter 2005 one that we killed. I'm going to change the time here so we don't run out. But he was nearly identical to the one I shot in real life. 7-8 months before I actually got it. I need to make that video where I compare them, because it's like freakishly similar. It's snowing. Hope Kyla's not in the chat. She's going to be jealous. Mine got married the 3rd week of October. Unbelievable she'd do that to me and my dad. It's so inconsiderate, you know? Love your content. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Tips for whitetail great one grind. So I'll be honest, I haven't done any whitetail grinding in coming up on 4 years now. I'm kind of the opinion that Reventuli Coast is the best, because the whitetail are kind of separated. They're mostly on the northern half of the map, but there's still plenty of, like, there's a lot of water. There's a lot of places they can drink there. But if you place your tents and tripods and stuff correctly, I feel like you can kill probably $50 an hour or upwards of that. But to be honest, like, I haven't messed with Reventuli enough to be certain of that. Watching from school? Nice. Just don't let me be the reason you get in trouble. Jumped the 140s buck yesterday in real life and couldn't get a shot? Ooh, dang. You still got any season left? I know a couple of seasons ended yesterday in different states. Thoughts on Pickett's injury? It sucks. Like, I kind of think they probably would have won that game if he didn't go out. Because I'm so confused. I thought this was a Matt Canada thing, and then it bled over into yesterday's game. It's 4th and goal at the 1. Why are you running out of shotgun? Line up under center. At least, like, Najee Harris might be the slowest starting running back in the NFL. Give him that running start. But anyway, the only thing I can think of is maybe the reason they didn't was they wanted to scare the defense into thinking they were going to use Mitch's legs to pick that up. And, you know, maybe that goes differently if Pickett's still under center and 4th and goal from the 1. If he doesn't get hurt, I think they generate enough offense to win. But my main concern is, like, now they've got the Patriots Thursday night. Kenny's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks, I think. Does Mitch throw 3 interceptions like he did against Baltimore last year? That's my concern. Like, he kind of does that every now and then. That 4th and goal was a Tomlin call? Run the ball, I would guess, would be as far as Tomlin would go with that. I highly doubt he said line up and shotgun and run it. That just seems... Maybe he does have more influence over the offense. I didn't realize how small that was. We're going to let that go. But I can't imagine he said run, whatever, a read. Maybe that was a read option with Mitch. I didn't think it was. It looked like an inside zone or something. Could have been Tomlin's call. But my guess is his influence ended at run it. That's what Ben said. Oh, did he? Okay, now I need to see. Obviously that was on his podcast. Now I need to see that clip and see what he said. time for the 44, and I don't have it. Well, that worked well. Any good trophies yet? Nothing yet. Have a friend in Alaska with several feet of snow now. It's that time of year, I'd imagine. Surprised at the 49ers-Eagles game? I also thought it would be closer. I didn't think it would be, like, nail-biter. I thought the Niners would fairly thoroughly beat them, but what are they won by, like, 20? I don't remember the final score. It was 42 to 19? Sup, Mr. Call the Wild? 42-19, look at me go. Steelers should draft J.J. McCarthy. Why? Isn't he just another Kenny Pickett? Somebody, I don't know if I said this on stream or not yet. I saw a thing, this was like 3-4 weeks ago. It said, Kenny Pickett is just current Tim Tebow. And then it made me sad because it's kind of true. He wasn't Tim Tebow last week, but he kind of does do nothing for 3 quarters, and then for some reason in the 4th quarter, he just lights fire. Could you live in a place real far north that loses sunlight for chunks of the year? No. I could do the snow, I could do the cold. In a world where money doesn't matter, like if, I don't know, if I won the lottery or something and I didn't have to worry about, you know, doing something for work, I could see myself, like, just being not Alaska, because that's the daylight thing, but I don't know, I could live, like, in the mountains somewhere and just maybe have a little farm or something and that be the day-to-day life. But the daylight thing, I think that would get to you mentally. Ugh. Speaking of getting to you. I'll never know exactly because Ben said Tomlin calls the actual play or just run it like you said. See, I think Tomlin said run it. But, like, I could be wrong. Because he's always been a defensive coach, I find it really hard to believe. I don't know. You would think he could also say line up under center and run it. Because from my perspective, unless you're trying to fool them into thinking Mitch is taking that ball, it is insane, with Najee Harris at least, to run that out of shotgun. Got clobbed by a bear, thank you. Where would you rather live, Colorado or Montana? I think Montana. I don't know. It wouldn't be one where, you know, if you made me, this is the most unrealistic scenario of all time. If you had a hat, and in that hat was 2 pieces of paper folded up. One said Colorado and the other said Montana. And you told me you get the same house in the same, you know, type of area in this state. When I picked one out, I wouldn't be upset with either. Whatever happened to Mason Rudolph? Did he get worse? Ever since that brutal assault by Myles Garrett, he just hasn't been the same, man. I don't know. I just don't think he's that good. Like, as third-string quarterbacks go, he's probably the best third-string quarterback in the league. He'd be top half for backups, but he's not a starter. Do you any fishing in IRL? Yeah. In real life? A decent bit. I really got into fly fishing the last couple years. So, you know, we'll have the occasional fly fishing excursion. I really want to try to do more camping this year, and camping in places where I would also be fishing. I wanted to do that last year, and my main concern was with Shadow. I didn't know how that was going to go. And then we didn't go early in the spring. And then we got Shadow fixed in, like, May. And she had to recover from that. And then we didn't go camping at all. What do you think about JJ? You talk about Justin Jefferson still not back? He's supposed to play this week. I thought you meant JJ Watt. Do you think you'll ever get another dog? I think Kylie's going to talk me into it. She wants to get another dog as is, because Shadow tends to favor me. And she wants a dog to favor her, which is... the worst possible outcome is we get another dog and they both favor me. That would be really bad. But Shadow as is, she really wants all the attention. She has, like... an example of what I mean is, If everyone's standing around in the kitchen, let's say we go up to my parents' house, Shadow does her running around like an absolute lunatic for 15 minutes to say hi to everyone. After that has happened, and she kind of calms down, if everyone's standing in the kitchen, she'll eventually get to the point that she just starts whining and barking at people. She wants them to sit down because she's a small dog. She can't reach when you're standing up. That type of attention, and then taking it away from her by having another dog, I just think is going to make her depressed. I could be wrong, but knowing Shadow, I don't think she'll like another dog. All 3 Steelers quarterbacks would be great backups. I don't know if that was intended to kind of be like a casual insult to the Steelers, but that was really funny if that's what you went for. Oh boy. Get another dog, but a male one this time? I guess male dogs are more like when you're potty training them and stuff, I guess they're more likely like pee on your couches and stuff. That was one factor in getting a female dog when we did, because we had just gotten new couches. We also, ironically, were going to get a male dog, but they didn't have, like where we got Shadow, we wanted to get her brother, and he had already been adopted or whatever. So we got her instead. It worked out. What's it, would you rather hunt in? Was it the Colorado and Montana thing? I'd rather hunt in Montana. I live in New Hampshire. The White Mountains are beautiful. My cousin used to live there, and I've never heard of the White Mountains. I'll have to look into that. Where would you rather another map for Call of the Wild? I like the would you rather thing we got going on. Well, I've wanted Greenland for a while. I would say that really hasn't changed. The argument is, and I think it's a good one, you know, every time I bring it up, because I want there to be muskox there, people will mention that they didn't do Himalayan tar on Te Awaroa because the hair is too difficult for them to pull off on this engine, and therefore you would think they couldn't do muskox either. If they could somehow pull it off, though, I just think, I don't even know that they'd be that fun to hunt, but imagine, like, an albino muskox. Would that not be top 3 coolest rares in the game? Montana's most hunter's second favorite place to hunt behind Alaska. So I could be wrong, but my perception of hunting in Montana is kind of like my perception of hunting in Alaska. Like, it's still truly wild. You know what I mean? The one really cool thing when we hunted Tennessee's muzzleloader season in 2022, we were in Big South Fork or something, I think was the name of the public land. It was like 80,000 acres, and when you got back in there, it was truly silent. Like, there was, the only thing you might hear is if an airplane flew over. You were too far away, you couldn't hear any traffic, no human sound at all. And it was probably the first time I've been in a place like that, maybe ever. That was something I really liked. Hello there. It's a troll, so don't you worry. That's what we get around here. It has been intriguing. This lake by far has produced the most level 5s. They troll us like a high percentage of the time, but it's funny how, like, I feel like if we're gonna get a great one, it's gonna be here. Small big male. Would you be interested in a Bavaria map? I don't even know where that is. If it would have some new species and some interesting species, 100%. I feel like there's gonna be some sheep or ibex there. I say 271. He's missing a brow tine, might even be 269. Basically 271. At least we didn't get our hopes up. I could see that missing brow tine. Knew he was going to troll us. But he's our first 5 a little bit. Does that mean we stay on Medved? We're an hour in. I was thinking about doing Leighton. We'll see. Southeast Germany. Do you know what species could be added to a map like that that aren't already in the game? Just got a diamond widgeon. Nice. You get that on Texas ranches, so secluded you don't hear vehicles and steady sounds. The size of some of them, I think the King Ranch is one of them. I could definitely believe it. What was the guy's name? The Prince of Poachers. So you guys will know who I mean. Some of you guys will know who I mean. He was on... I look it up. Oh, Charles Beatty, I think it was. If I go on YouTube... Some really interesting stuff if you guys want to watch these podcasts. They were on Hunter's Advantage podcast. He did a couple of them where he just told the stories of like all the bucks he would shoot on like the King Ranch and stuff. Totally illegal. Let me make that clear. But interesting nonetheless. But the size, like the pure size of those ranches. Being on a place like that where you can walk 10 times as far as you can see and not hit the other side of it would be amazing. Is that one of those don't read it out loud ones, Bottom Boy? If a cheek claps in the forest and no one's around to hear it, did it really happen? What is the best map for bunnies? I guess depends on the type of bunnies, but thinking across the different types of bunnies there are and how quickly or how easily you can encounter them. Probably Ribbon to the Coast and Mountain Hare. That'd be my pick. You're gonna find very few level 3s, but you will find a lot of Mountain Hare generally. As a Portuguese, I'd like to see a Portugal map, but I'm afraid it would basically be Reventuli V2 mixed with Quattro Colinas. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, people ask me if I want to see a Pennsylvania map, since that's where I'm from. There's next to nothing that you could add to a Pennsylvania map that isn't already in the game, and you'd end up with another New England, where people are like, this is kind of lame. I want to hunt in Hawaii IRL someday for Axis Deer. If I ever decided that I wanted to do an Axis Deer hunt, I do think I'd choose Hawaii. For one, you're actually helping them. Those and feral goats are a problem down there. And two, they do... I think the Axis Deer on game ranches are pretty... When I say wild, I think... Like, going all the way back, Axis Deer, I believe, are native to India. And the reason they are so absurdly fast and, like, cat-like reflexes is going to be ironic because of avoiding, like, tigers and stuff. Like, they have to be fast. So, I don't know if the ones, like, on a game range are going to be as fast and react as quickly. I assume they would. But I'd rather hunt anything without fences, basically. What's the kill count? I'll be honest, I've completely lost track. I know we're over 4,000, but how far over 4,000? Might be 4,200, might be 4,700. No clue. Do you want a mule deer great one to be in the game? Absolutely. Got my first diamond brown hybrid goose. Nice. I like them. I wish they were rare because they look amazing. Could they do a French Alps map? So that was, are you familiar with Val de Blanc in the Hunter Classic? I believe that's French Alps. The name Val de Blanc kind of gives that away, I guess. In terms of things we don't already have, Alpine Ibex are there. And then we're looking at things that are already in Call of the Wild. Red deer, brown bear, red fox, capercaillie, European rabbit, roe deer. If you can come up with, like, just a couple more species, I think it could work. I love Alpine Ibex. I think they're like a top 3 animal in Classic for me, and I'd love for them to come to Call of the Wild. But I think you need more than one unique species for a map to really sell. They need hippos in Hunter Call of the Wild? Walmart's not good enough? They probably could fit on Barhunga, to be honest. What's the best animal that can get diamond easily? I think most... yeah, I'd say all 4 species of Ibex on Quattro Colinas. I kind of think the Southeasterns are the easiest. Pathetes are probably second. Maybe then Kratos, then Ronda. Have a friend who owns 3 Nails Ranch in Texas, crazy whitetails, all kinds of other animals. When we went to Texas to visit my cousin. He lived in Houston. I looked into, you know, maybe trying to do some kind of exotic hunt. Ended up deciding against it, but I'd like to, I don't know how likely it is. I'd like to just go and see the stuff. I don't even have to hunt them. Does this sound about right? Get trolled by a turkey, find a piebald mallard, to get trolled by a drake mallard, find an albino mallard, all within 5 minutes. Minus the fact that albino mallards don't exist, yes? I'm guessing you maybe saw a blonde female one or something. I live in New Hampshire and hunt snowshoe hare and ruffed grouse all the time. Why aren't they in New England Mountain? Yeah, ruffed grouse should be in the game. Snowshoe hare, aren't mountain hare... aren't those snowshoe hare, though? I thought they were. Like the, summer coat of snowshoe hare. Easy, I've been hunting all ibexes for a week. Only got 2 diamonds, 1 petites, and 1 ronda. Got trolled 3 times now. It's pretty hard. I guess it depends. Like, if you're hunting multiplayer especially. If you join, I bet if you join 2 multiplayer servers and go to every ibex lake on those 2 servers, you'll kill at least 1 diamond. Because there's so many of them. They're in such large groups. Now in single player, your luck may not be quite as good because you got to rely on respawns, but even still, I feel like you're going to get one, you know, fairly quickly with some decent luck. That second heart shot was an accident, but we'll take it. Sounds good, Jaguar. If I explore a map in multiplayer, does it transfer over if I buy the DLC? That I don't know, like unlocking outposts and stuff. Does anybody have an answer to that? I've never tried it, never heard an answer to it. I think it should transfer. First to check my map, now I'm in multiplayer. Are you only looking for level 5s or are you shooting level 4s too? Because especially that's hard for me to say, southeastern Spanish ibex, but also Bathides, they'll make diamond at level 4 fairly often. Like I just killed one in yesterday's video, I think. What would be your opinion on an Amazon rainforest map in Call of the Wild? This is again one of them where I probably don't know enough about the game species. Like I'm imagining you'd probably throw... What was that one? Was it tapir that you can hunt in Dangerous Hunts 2009? I guess you'd probably throw jaguars in there because it's almost a necessity. And then I'm out of like, I don't know what else you hunt there. Started working on my Grand Slam for turkey in real life and already have my Eastern and Merriams. There you go. This isn't meant to be like... this. I just want this to be a question because it's the way I would want to approach it too. The like Grand Slam where you get... don't you get like a pin or something? You have to do it all in 1 year, right? I want to just get like a eventually in my life Grand Slam, and it would be great if I could kill one. I have shot a couple of Jakes for Easterns, but if I could ever kill an Eastern, maybe we could get one. I think I'm gonna look at maybe trying to plan a turkey hunt this spring, but it's always such a challenge because Kyla's birthday is the end of April, so we're always traveling down to see her family around then, and that happens to be like half the state's opening weekend of turkey season, so that's a real struggle. Cayman, capybara, snakes. Oh my god, 9 legendary anaconda, the biggest male. If they do Amazon, they should really lean to all the stuff that can kill you there, like cactus damage, but for insects and snakes and native tribes, and the potential to get overnight shipping too. That's bad. Favorite great one. Concept-wise and stuff, moose. I don't have one. If you mean my favorite great one that I have, gotta be whitetail. Always will be. That was a special moment when that one came out. Got a chuckle out of me. Favorite gun in the game? I mean, the 44 lever action right now. I've been loving that thing. There's the alert. Been waiting for that. Snakehead, thank you for the super chat. Besides Alaska, what other places would you like to hunt in real life? Besides Alaska. If I were to look at like destination hunts or something where I'm like, maybe once in my life I'll get to do this, I'd say Hawaii's probably on there for access here, to be honest. I don't have many. I'm pretty, I guess like Iowa and stuff, I don't think that's a once in a lifetime thing. Like I'd love to go out to what I call the whitetail destination states. I guess he's technically not my brother-in-law yet, but he will be in 2 weeks. He was telling me, I think it's his uncle, moved to Oklahoma. They get 3 buck tags, archery, muzzleloader, and rifle. And he filled all 3 and had like 130 plus in all of them. But I guess the amount of snakes and stuff you deal with down there can be a bit of a problem. But anyway, what I was trying to get at was, I think I'd be really happy just generally hunting, you know, PA and whatever semi-surrounding states I go to every year, every couple years. I would just be fine hunting whitetail forever. Maybe throw a western hunt in there every now and then, but yeah, other than caribou and just seeing Alaska generally, I think that's kind of it for my like dream hunt stuff. New Zealand, what it comes down to for me is all the logistics of dealing with that. It's getting whatever gun and gear and stuff over there. That's probably not as big a problem. Let's say I shoot a big male red deer or whatever. I don't know how you deal with getting the meat back. I don't know how you deal with, I assume as far as taxidermy goes, you'd have to get it mounted in New Zealand. Maybe there's some difference there, but like with whitetail, because of CWD, which it affects, I assume, maybe red deer and stuff too, maybe it's not a thing in New Zealand, you gotta be careful about transporting brain matter and stuff across state lines. So I don't know how all that stuff goes, and honestly, I don't want to hunt red deer and stuff that badly anyway. It's not something I want to hunt so badly that I'm willing to deal with all the problems. Like Alaska, I'm willing to deal with the problems. New Zealand is easier to rent a gun? I guess if I shot it a couple of times, I'd probably be okay with that. I'm so, like, untrusting of anybody else's. Like, if somebody gives me a gun and says, hey, this is sighted in, let's go hunting, there's 0 chance I'm going unless I get to shoot it. But, like I said, I imagine you shoot that. Have you ever thought of going hunting in Africa in real life? When I was younger, it was all I wanted to do. Now I'm not interested in it. I love watching it, but I don't have much desire to go like sit in a blind over a watering hole and shoot one of the 500 animals that walks in. It's just, you know, nothing against it. It's just not something that I want to do. Like, as frustrating as it can be to go 2 weeks without seeing a buck, I'd rather that. It's just, and it goes back to that thing I was saying earlier about like hunting is something different to everybody. To me, it's a potentially several weeks long slog of just trying to get one opportunity, just see one set of antlers. It's not the same thing to me. I'm not saying there's anything against it. I'm not even saying I wouldn't do it. Like, if you magically warped me to Africa, yeah, I'll go shoot a impala or a kudu or whatever. But it's the exact same thing. Like, it doesn't interest me enough to go through all the inconvenience of whatever 18-hour flight. I will inevitably end up with vertigo or something again and be miserable the entire time, and then trying to get everything back. Like, it's just not something that I personally want to deal with. Anything yet? One troll moose. Ooh, speaking of anything yet, we didn't go to the menu after that. The way your hunting dreams change once you learn what hunting trips actually cost. It is rather sobering. I'm a wildlife maintenance, I don't even know how to say that, propagator for the Pennsylvania Game Commission. We raised around 140,000 pheasants on our farm in western PA. Have you thrown nut at any? I have not. I'm not sure, is that just, because there's, I don't know, I think it's geese. There's somewhere you can just go and like hunt geese somewhere here in PA. But what I was getting around to was, I know our hunting club here, or at least I think, they stock pheasants for like a pheasant hunt every year, every couple years. Somehow a pheasant ended up on my property is kind of what I'm getting at. And I wanted to hunt it, but I also didn't want to shoot the one measly pheasant that was running around. Cosmix, thank you for the super chat. Welcome on in. Just wanted to say good luck on the grind. We will certainly need it. Thank you, man. You know, actually, there was a big moose here that spooked when our tent disappeared. Or possibly due to wolves, because these things are fleeing now, too. That one's calm. See if we can spot a moose. Even hunting games are expensive anymore. Just about everything is. No moose. I guess we'll jump over here and see what's going on. Do you ever go morning dove hunting? Ah, there goes that tent. I haven't in 10 years, I bet. Used to do it a lot when I was younger. It's a combination of things. It's finding the time to do it, because I don't have time for half the things that I think I'm going to have time for. And then it's also the time of year that you can't do it. I think our season always opens September 1st, and by then I'm full archery mode. Like, it's hanging stands, it's running trail cams, it's probably practicing with my bow as much as I can, and even like this year was going to Kentucky to hunt their early season, so I just don't find the time to do it as much as I'd like to again. Later, Mr. Call the Wild. Where am I going? Trying to go that way. Your medved's been doing the same thing? I think it's the update. Every time that you have an update, there's little changes, like, you know, they maybe changed, you know, maybe there's a tree that's not in the ground and they fix that. That can screw with your tents. That's probably all it is. One of these days we need to go to Hunting Hills up there in PA and shoot some clays. If we can ever, because I know, like, it was maybe the last time you were there, we were going to see if we could link up to, I could run down there and get lunch with you, but I can't even remember. Maybe it was a Friday, it was a stream day or something. If we could ever have it work out better, it would be nice. Is the Argus scope bugged? I'm not aware of any bug, but I haven't used it much. 35 diamond moose in the grind and nothing, sadly. You got more diamonds than me, that's for sure. I'm probably in the area of 20 if I had to guess. No big males. Is Joel the way to say that? I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. What's going on, man? Just got a question. Would you rather they add wild turkey in this person way the hunter or doll sheep to Aurora? Oh, give me doll sheep all day. The big game models, horns / antlers, whatever, in way the hunter always end up being better. I do want turkeys in the game, but I just think like a 5-star doll sheep could look incredible. Turkeys, I'm sure, you know, they would do what we would call the wild true beards. Like, we'd get beard length differences and stuff, but I just can't imagine it'd be as fun to hunt as doll sheep, at least for me. That's how you pronounce it? Look at that. Proud of myself. Not a big male, that's very much a small male. I heard an angy woof somewhere. It was very faint, but I heard it. Maybe it was snarling at that moose that just... It sure sounded like they were after us. Let's wander over this way and see if we find it. Good to see you on the moose grind. Just moved to PA. What is there to do out here? I'm the worst person to ask. I don't do anything. Outside of hunting or fishing or camping, I probably won't have much of an answer for you, but what part of PA you in? Howling at the Moon. Where is this thing? Oh, it's... So where's the wolf? Because it was after that lynx. What happens if I kill the lynx? What does the moose do? I'm kind of curious, actually. Good thing it's below that hill and I can't do it. Why? Why are you like this? Come back here. What was your favorite show when you were growing up? We didn't have cable till I was like 13 or something. Because, you know, the whole like SpongeBob rots your brain theory. So I only watched like... I guess it doesn't care if I shoot it? Anyway, I only watch like, I guess, educational television. If we go, you know, to, I need to know what this thing's gonna do. Anyway, if we go to once we got cable, I don't know, we watched a decent bit of, like, whatever cartoon was on. I don't know that I had a favorite. Yeah, kill that dead lynx, get it. I'm on your side. Wait, are you attacking me now? Hi. I didn't appreciate that. Are you happy? I am now. I got to see what I wanted to see. That's what I was here for. Okay. We're getting a little thick on the hunting pressure down there. Maybe we can do the river again. Wilted. Watching you right now in school. Well, don't get yourself in trouble. York, I fish mainly if that helps. I'm not familiar enough with the area to tell you like, hey, go to this body of water or anything. All I know is sometime, I think our trout season has changed, and I think they changed it with COVID, weirdly enough, and then they just left it that way. It used to always open something like April 15th, and I think it opens April 1st now. But if you're into trout fishing at all, pretty much any relatively public body of water will be stocked with a whole ton of trout. So I'd get into fly fishing if you're not already. I think that'd be a really good, like, spring activity. Ice fishing and stuff, unfortunately, I got nothing. I've never done it. Don't have any insight on that. My brother and his wife's family do it, and they have pretty decent success at it, but I don't have a clue where they're going or how, you know, what equipment they're using or any of that. Playing Classic on a really hard duck mission. Which one's that? I have an important question. Can you tell the difference between a leucistic tundra bean goose / gray lag goose and a common one? Yeah, the gray lags I think can only be hybrid. I don't think they have leucistic plumage type. The bean geese, I've killed like 3 or 4 leucistics, and normally I can spot them in the distance. It's not like, what would I say? It's not like jarring. You don't just go like, oh my god, that's a rare. It's more like, that looks funny. I better shoot that. Like, it's usually not super obvious, but you can tell. Does PA have an elk season? Yes. We have a relatively small population of elk in PA, like northern PA. It's a lottery draw to get an elk tag. I don't even know when the season is. There's archery and rifle. And there's very few bull tags given out every year. A few more cow tags. Obviously more archery tags than rifle tags. But the one thing about PA elk, we do have some of the biggest elk in the world. And the reason for that is they're the same strain of like Rocky Mountain elk from Montana, Colorado, wherever, that get huge without the extremely harsh winters, without the wolves, mountain lions, stuff like that hunting them. So not only do they, you know, have less stress and stuff in their lives generally, which stress is a factor in antler growth, they also don't end up as malnourished and as, like, I guess, feeble after a tough winter. So they, more nutrients and stuff go into antler development earlier on because they're not trying to regain body mass. I don't know what our record is, but I will tell you. I will look it up and I'll tell you. I'm not going to make it up. PA, I'm going to do non-typical elk. records. Probably shot in the last like 3 years because it only goes up. 2020 non-typical elk. The 6th largest in Boone and Crockett's records, 455. Let's do PA typical elk. Typical elk record. Wait. That's saying 455, but I think that's the same elk. Show me the typical. Okay, fine. I won't find the typical record. You might have bigger elk, but we have cooler rocks. That's enough to convince me. Guess we'll leave this... Am I going north? Okay. Guess we'll leave this small male alone. We actually have 3 different subspecies of elk in Oregon: Coastal Roosevelt, Cascade Roosevelt, as well as Rocky Mountain elk. I thought you were going to tell me there were Tula elk out there. I've never heard of the Cascade ones. We have elk and black bear in southern Missouri, but I'm in northern Missouri. I didn't know there were elk in Missouri. I knew about the bears. I guess it makes sense. I just had no idea they were there. Are you doing herd management? Somebody asked me that earlier, and my answer was, I guess, like, by the strict definition of it, yes. I don't know what the strict definition of it is, as it's kind of a community-made thing. But anyway, like, if there's a small level 1 or 2, I typically don't shoot it. But I don't have, like, shooting zones and whatever they call it. I don't, like, stack or anything like that. I just kind of leave small ones and shoot big ones. I also shoot average-sized ones. Does the retriever work with raccoons? No, they're class 2. Only class 1 animals. Last year I got a wonky 6x3. Nice, that's cool. That is one thing. I definitely need to do some elk hunting. I imagine it is going to be elk hunting and not elk killing. At least my first trip or so, but my brother invited me to go along on theirs next year. They're going back to Colorado over the counter, but the problem is I already have a trip to Colorado like 2 months later to get married, and I just don't think I can afford the expenses of both. Potato Smuggler, that's a 12 out of 12 name. What's up, man? Welcome on in. Do you have your trapper's license? I'm hoping to get into trapping this year. No, I used to... I think it's up until you're 18 or something. You can get a combo license in PA. So that's like hunting, trapping. I don't know if that includes any like the muzzleloader stamp, archery stamp, but it's a good like youth hunter license. I kind of wish that I was into trapping. I'm just not. Maybe one of these days that'll change, but that wasn't the only trapping we did growing up. Was, hey, there's too many raccoons stealing the cat food in the barn, we gotta trap some. Or like, raccoons are tearing up the cornfield or tearing up the sweet corn in the garden. That was the only trapping we ever did. You have Rockies in Michigan? Don't think I knew that either. What map do you recommend between Emerald Coast and Rancho? Ooh, they're kind of in the same like category for me. Okay, factor this into your decision. Because Emerald Coast is newer, there's going to be way more multiplayer servers open at any given time on that map. The reason I say that, I assume you know this, but even, whether you do or don't, someone out there doesn't know this and it'll be important information. You can play any map that you don't own if you go in multiplayer. So what you could do is buy Rancho, because there's probably only at any given time like 2 or 3, maybe even 0 at, unpopular times to play. Servers open on that one. So you could play Emerald Coast in multiplayer and play Rancho in single player, and you could kind of get to play both. It comes down to, personal preference. Are you interested in hunting pheasants and antelope, jackrabbit? I'm trying to think of like the unique species on that map. Rio Grand Turkeys. What the heck else is on there? Is there any big game that's unique? I guess javelinas? But anyway, yeah. You could definitely use that multiplayer thing to get to hunt both maps a little bit more. Traffic is very difficult to get into if you don't have someone helping / borrowing their stuff. I'm sure, you know, like hunting, there's so many different, like not only is there so many different types of traps, but I'm imagining, depending on, like let's say, I don't know, you go to a yard sale and you find 5 foothold traps. Mine is buying stuff new, because that would be an option, obviously. You're probably then in a situation where, like, maybe they don't have the, I don't know what to call it, the proper stuff to secure it to the ground. Maybe, you know, stuff's wore out, you have to fix it. And then, even if you, like, you know, you buy some of the replacement parts you might need. You go to trap something else, you need a different type of trap and all that. So, like, I definitely think it's one of those where you need some guidance. Javelinas are on Parque now. That's true. They are no longer unique to Rancho. Would you rather hunt Africa or Russia in real life? I guess Africa. Neither are like dream hunts of mine. Tips for getting more diamond moose to spawn. I've been casually grinding them for a while now and still no diamonds, not any trolls either. I've kind of been having the same problem, even though I leave like a bunch of low-level ones, which in theory is supposed to help. I'm getting a couple of trolls here and there, but we're not getting very many level 5s in general. What would you say is a decent buck in real life? It's so, like, area dependent. I would say a decent buck in PA is like 100 inches. I would say a decent buck in Ohio is like 130 inches. It also depends on your definition of decent, but that would be kind of my two-state answer. At least you can hunt in Africa. The other place Mother Russia hunts you. Exactly. You'll be hunting along and Putin will come galloping along on a white stallion shirtless. Indiana has no bucks. We had a buck walk up on us 45 seconds into legal light the first day of firearms in Indiana. It was the perfect storm of Aaron had already killed his buck, so he was just kind of hunting with me. The buck walked out so that Aaron was between me and it, so I couldn't really shoot it if I wanted to. And it was also kind of dark, so we couldn't see that he was like super narrow. And he didn't look as big as he was. Kind of made it to where, you know, basically he showed up and we didn't immediately go like, hey, shooter, get ready. It looked like a smaller buck, and then it got like, I don't know, 40 yards away, and it stopped and it was just standing completely still. I'm sure it was staring at us, but it was so dark I could barely tell what was going on. And I could just see its beams. Like, I could see, you know, like, swooping beams coming down from either side, and I would just whisper to Aaron, like, hey, that's bigger than you think it is. And I don't know if he didn't hear me. I can't remember what happened, but I remember I said it twice. Like, hey, no, it's bigger than you think it is. And then it turned, and we could see, like, oh yeah, that's definitely, like, a solid buck. It was probably 100 inches, 105 inches. But I'd have shot it. But by then, it had already seen us. It was starting to try to sneak behind us to get our wind, and I believe it did do that and took off before I could move. Kentucky has all the bucks? Oh, well, that makes me feel good, considering I couldn't find one down there. Steelers doing some good things. Yeah, losing by 14 is good. To a 2-win team, now 3-win team. I know what you mean, though. I'm just proud of myself for... I think I've picked the Cowboys correctly every game other than the Arizona. Oh, good. I've picked the Steelers and the Cowboys incorrectly in the Arizona games. I don't know why you'd pick Arizona to win those, but it was a predictable loss by the Steelers in a way. I had it in the back of my head, like, I could pick Arizona this week. Ohio isn't real? Oh, right. My bad. Have you seen the Barry Sanders documentary? I haven't yet. I need to watch that. Maybe, I don't know when. Maybe like when I'm up late prepping videos for when we go to Georgia later this month. While I'm doing all that, I can watch it. I really want to see it. Is it good? Spawn a level 5 moose. Nice. Little 255. Which map is the best for pheasant hunting? It's always going to be Rancho. The problem with Hirschfelden and New England and Quattro, they've all had pheasants added to them. But pheasants weren't made for those maps, and those maps weren't made for pheasants. When you hunt them on Rancho, what'll typically happen is you'll get a warning call, and then they'll run to cover, and they'll hide there until you get really close, and then they'll flush. On, we got stuck again. On the other maps, there isn't like certain types of brush or anything that's kind of coded in as cover. That's my perception of what happens. I think that's what's going on. And therefore, pretty much once you alert them, they're going to go ahead and flush. And they might flush from 100 meters away. And you just, other than clipping them out of the air with the 22, it's too far for a shotgun. Favorite NFL team is Steelers. Great week to be a Steelers fan. Half their team's injured. They lost to the Cardinals. It's good. Do you keep up with college football? Barely. I mean, I'm aware of what's going on with the is it just called the college football playoff? This is making me look like I don't know what's going on. But I know they kept FSU out, even though they were 13-0. They kept Georgia out, even though not even in theory, they are one of the best 4 teams in college football. And it's interesting the way the committee can do that. But next year with a 12-team playoff, it won't be an issue. Oh boy, I can't pronounce your name. Boy, what do I even say? Wilshcon? That's probably not even close. I apologize for that. I tried. Thank you for becoming a Tuesday. I really appreciate it. If you want, feel free to let me know how to pronounce that in the chat. I can try at least to get it correctly. But welcome on in. If you're not in the Discord, be sure to join that as well. Link up your YouTube, get the member roll, take advantage of that good stuff, and enjoy the green name and emojis in chat. How good is the Ambusher pack? This is bad. I can't remember what's in the Ambusher pack. Is that... no, Hunter Power Pack was the... What if I... Oh, that's the new one. I mean, here's the thing. The electronic collar is good. The problem is it's so heavy that it kind of removes its utility. Unless you're going to hunt gators that don't have a manual collar, you're kind of better off for the most part using the manual collars. Now I have the 44 lever action on me. It's a great gun. The recurve is okay. If you like to bow hunt, it's a good thing to have on you because it is very lightweight. There's nothing there that's like, if you don't have this pack, you're not going to be able to do X, Y, or Z. Like it's not a game-changing pack, but the 44 is really fun. Was expecting that. At least you knew what to expect. Of all the upland animals on the hunter, what do you like the best? Are we only counting upland birds, or do like, I don't know, chamois count? I'm trying to think through. Black grouse is probably going to be my answer either way. Birds or rabbits? Yeah, black grouse then. Only getting it for the gun and bow, I might use the collar for predators. Yeah, the gun's really nice. The bow, like I said, it probably has its place in some people's loadouts. The way that I tend to play the game, I don't find that bows are particularly useful in Call of the Wild, which kind of sucks, but just kind of is what it is. The gun, though, especially for class 3 animals, if you hunt bobcats or axis deer, black buck, it's pretty easily the best class 3 gun in the game. This moose is oblivious. Thought your favorite was the anger chicken? I mean, they are pretty great, but I think black grouse are cooler. What should be in the next update? Well, we know we're not getting a map. Someone was asking earlier, like, my opinion on, what do you think? We're not getting a map. What's your opinion on that? And I said it kind of depends on, what else they're maybe going to release going forward here. So I guess this question kind of becomes, what do I think needs to be released for it to be worth us not getting a new map? So a new dog would have been in there. We got retrievers already. We talked about this too, a new animal being added to the game, whether it's doll sheep, whether it's, I don't know, they talked about maybe doing tar on New Zealand years ago. I doubt they'd go back and do that now. And they also said, I think the engine with like the long hair is a problem. It has to be something like that though. Something like significantly impactful. Inquisitor, thank you for the 4 months as a Shusty. Welcome back. Vilixkin, is that close? It's probably not. I'll probably have to pronounce it 12 different ways till you tell me one of them is close. 28 gauge? I'd like some kind of unique shotgun like that. I'm not sure it would be like, you know, everybody uses this for the next year type of gun, but it'd be fun to have. Don't you do it. You tried to do it. Let's get like 7 great ones next drop, all birds. Can you imagine? They would get such hate. Hey, hello there. Speaking of class 3 animals in that 44 lever action, it does have the ability to do that. Who'd you pick in tonight's game? Yeah, Jags. I think if the Jags win, I think I'll end up 10-3 this week, which Steelers oofed me here. Could have been 11-2. I didn't realize the Buccaneers game was that close. I did get that right. So I was wrong on the Broncos game. I picked them. Wrong on the Steelers game. I picked the Steelers. And I was wrong on the Chiefs. And there were 13 games. So assuming the Jags win 10-3, I'd take that. Didn't even hit the head. What do you want the next dog to be in the Hunter? A pointer would be really nice. I really like the GSPs in Classic. Do you think there'll be cross progression at any point? Cross play, I think, I know that's not what you're asking. Cross play, I think, is not going to happen. Cross progression, because we have like the Apex Connect accounts, I feel like that should be doable. How rare are great ones on initial spawn? Because I got one 2 days ago on Medved. I don't know. There was a thought out there that initial spawn great ones were made impossible, basically. And to unpack that, there were a couple of people in the community who were getting far more great ones than anyone else and posting these insane grind stats as if they had killed thousands of deer per day. And then suddenly they stopped killing any great ones at all. And it kind of was figured out that all they were doing was pop resetting over and over again and just shooting initial spawn ones and then just making up grind stats. And to the best, I mean, maybe they've changed it back, but to the best of my knowledge, nothing has happened to make initial spawn great ones show up again. So my guess would be maybe you like shot one moose or something and got a great one respawn off of that. Something to that effect. Or maybe it still is a thing and some update has changed it back. Nobody in the AFC will hit 10-3 this week, just 9-3? Were we referring to me saying that my picks record was going to be 10-3, or was that a separate conversation? Because I might have made it sound like I was saying the Jags were going to be 10-3. Do you think the Hunter should make a Class 1 air rifle? I don't know that it would be extremely useful necessarily. I think I'd like for there to be one. I just don't know that, like, the range has to be there. Like a Class 1 air rifle that's, you know, a maximum zero range of 50 meters would be pretty pointless. If they made it like the 45, yeah, I think it could work. Played something like 4 hours on the map before I found it. That would be my guess, yeah. you probably shot, you know, a moose, couple of moose, and just happened to get really lucky with a early on respawn. It's still, the average grind for a Great One Moose seems to be like 2,400 kills, something like that. So for you to get one, say, in like less than 5 kills is absurd, but it does happen. Any rares today? None. We had 1 troll moose. Medved meats are not kind to us, but we kill a bunch of them. Like, the numbers here on Medved are by far the best that we get on any map. Mine is Reventuli, but it's such a... There's so many places they can drink, it's so convoluted, it's really hard to grind Reventuli, I find. That, I think, FPS King is the way that they'd have to do it if they wanted to make it useful. Give us like a 177 or a 22. I'd be okay with a 22 caliber air rifle. Yeah, that's got like the spook radius of the 45. Maybe even a lesser spook radius. You just gotta be careful adding something like that. Like, you know, if it has the ability to nearly insta-kill, let's say, a whitetail, like, let's say they give it really good penetration, and you can neck shot a whitetail, and maybe they'll run like 10 or 20 meters, but they go and die. Then all of a sudden you've got a problem. So you got to be careful about making something like that, but as long as they balance it correctly, for rabbits and ducks and stuff, I think it'd be great. Best map for a Great One Moose. That is a question that I think is still kind of being answered. From what I can tell, most people tend to do their grinds on Medved, but I know Reventuli, Yukon, Layton have all been successful for people. My big buck just showed up broadside on my camera and I'm sick. Oh no. It's like they know. I'm planning on taking my cell cam. I've had it in here. I really wonder if it dying cost me this year. I had it in a spot that was kind of close to where my 180 was bedding back in 2021. I found that out later that he was bedding there. I found like all the rubs and stuff, and that's where he stepped out of. And I had like that big 140-inch 9-point was down in there. I never saw a junior, the 8-point that I talked about earlier. He was never down there. There was a couple of bucks down there, though, that were showing up fairly consistently. And then my cell cam died, like November 2nd or something. And I was really just trying to watch, like, do they daylight in here? Like, how do they use this area? Because it's really kind of dangerous to go into a bedding area and potentially blow deer out of there. So I hunted there, like, once. I do have a stand there. But I wonder, like, you know, had that cell cam not died... Ugh, that was me picking up shadow, by the way. Would I have hunted there some? Maybe would I have gotten a buck? And when I say died, it's not like the batteries died. It just quit working. So I brought it in. I had it sitting on the furnace for like 2 weeks to dry out, which is overkill, but, you know, it is what it is. I haven't even checked to make sure it works still. I'm hoping it does. The air gun needs to have a reduction in hunting pressure like the bow does? That'd be cool. When will we get the shadow cam? So I bought a, I don't think it would work for this. I just bought like a little, I forget what they call it. Some kind of little like security camera basically. Shadow gets such terrible anxiety when we put her in the kennel, and what we're kind of looking to doing is maybe just seeing if she is going to be non-destructive if we just leave her out of the kennel but in the house when we leave. And said camera's the way that I want to do that. Kyla thought I was getting a shadow cam for the streams, but I don't think it can be used for that. What do you think about adding traps and snares? I don't know if Bottom Boy will be able to replicate what he normally says, but I think he says it best. It's the whole, like, the reason that people really get into trapping and stuff in real life, outside of, you know, maybe they sell the furs or whatever there may be on that side of it. It's kind of like that outdoorsman thing where, you know, you're finding sign, you're finding tracks, you're finding the perfect place to set your trap. A game just won't be able to replicate that because there's going to be predetermined trails or whatever it may be, and I don't think it's essentially just like put the thing down and RNG, does an animal go in your trap or not. I don't know that you can, I don't know that it would be fun or realistic enough to be worth it. They should add food plots and feeders. I've always wanted a game where you could do something like that. Not the feeders so much, but that's just, we can't bait in PA. And I don't, like, I'm totally fine with people doing it in other states, but just because I've, like, you know, grown up and always hunted where baiting is illegal, feeders aren't something that I want. Let me put it this way. Feeders aren't something that I think I'd use in a game. I don't care if they're added or not. Like, I don't want to say, like, they shouldn't be added because I don't want them. If they add them, I'd probably even use them a little bit, but anyway, what I'm getting at is, I always wanted the game where you could almost do, like, property maintenance and stuff. Maybe, you know, hang stands, cut shooting lanes, food plots, hinge cutting for bedding, like, all that type of stuff. I'm not sure Call of the Wild's that game, though. Would you rather have a Great One Lion or Great One Cape Buffalo? I think Great One Cape Buffalo would be probably cooler. The funny thing is, my idea for what they should do with the Cape Buffalo, obviously some kind of unique fur or, you know, multiple unique furs. That's a must with the Great Ones. I think it should be, obviously, huge horns, maybe some scarring and stuff, and then I think there should be a lion skull hooked over the hook of one of the horns. I think that'd be awesome. Newbie on a Steam Deck in the UK. I got 2 wolf attacks today while doing a quest. Nice. I kind of want to get a Steam Deck. I haven't messed with it, but it seems like that'd be cool. Did we already shoot the... No, we didn't. Where was he? He's down there. There he is. Okay. All is well. Which map would you recommend buying? It really does come down to personal preference. Silver Ridge Peaks is a really good one. I think Yukon's underrated. Reventuli Coast is very good. The newest one, Emerald Coast, is also quite good. And then Barhunga Savannah. Those would be the 4 that I'd choose between. But it's down to, like, you know, would you rather hunt animals in Africa? Would you rather hunt animals in Australia? Are you interested in Alaska, like Yukon Valley? It's all down to, like, what you want to hunt at the end of the day. Had a 180 come in chasing a doe at 15 yards, but it was in brush. But then I saw a pick the neighbor holding up my target buck. Hollywood's head. Oh, that's the worst. That always sucks to see that. Do you think they could add doves? I think they could. Stubble quail, I think, are technically smaller than doves. The in-game models are bigger than what I think they need to be, but I think you could do it. Opinions on backfilling a wolves to Leighton. I kind of think, like, pumas might actually fit better, which is funny because, like, 5-6 years ago, Zaggy did an April Fool's prank that pumas were added to Leighton. That caused EW some headaches because a lot of people believed it. I don't know. It's not that I wouldn't like it, and it's not that they don't fit. It's more of, like, do you want wolves running your blacktail and elk and whitetail herds around? I think I'd rather something different be added to Leighton, but if they got added, I wouldn't be upset. I'd probably even be excited. Just shot an albino lion on Tickaboon Plains. Nice. Pumas could be on every mountain. That's very true. Later, Tater Smuggler. I'm going to call you that from now on. That just kind of fit. Puma would make more sense, though. Our wolf population is growing 10% a year in Oregon. I'd almost want, like, regional wolves. Like, what if they were only up there in Topeka, maybe northern Willowpeg? If they did that, I think that would make more sense. I could live with that. Raccoon should be on Leighton. You could do those. You could do red fox. I've always wanted red fox on Leighton. Gray fox could be on Leighton. It's funny, like, Mississippi and New England, they've got these things that I want. Like, they have gray fox and whitetail and red fox and moose and all these things on the same map. And yet, I only want those things on Leighton. I don't care if they're on those other maps. I just don't like them as much. And if New England came out first, New England might be my favorite map in the game. It's just the way it goes. Wouldn't it be cool if they added elephants to Barhunga because we already have the Nitro round? My answer to that is normally, you know, like the video game player in me would love to hunt elephants and stuff. The just hunter in me would be kind of indifferent towards it. But I think the biggest problem is, could they even do that with the engine? Like, an elephant is, in terms of weight, what, 20 times bigger than a Cape buffalo? Like a big elephant? Maybe 10. How big are elephants? Hold on a minute. African elephant. Maybe instead of just speaking out of ignorance, I actually have some information. Still waiting for the thing. I'm trying to read as I'm trying to line up this shot. Oh, they might be way bigger, or way smaller than I thought. Man, it said the size of them. Where's that at? Size. Bulls, 13,000 pounds. Like what, 7 times bigger than a Cape buffalo? That's still a lot. Yeah, 8 tons, I guess if we were looking at, maybe that's bigger than the size thing they used. Let's say 8 to 10 times bigger than a Cape buffalo. That's so much, like, larger. I don't know if the engine can handle that. They wouldn't fit in any of the places in the trophy lodge. Like, there's a lot that would go into it. At the end of the day, if they added them, I would make 20 videos on them, no doubt. More than 20 videos, but 20, like, in the next 20 days, I'll be hunting elephants for 20 days straight. But I don't know that it's something that I feel like we desperately need in the game, and it would be a big task for them to do. Could you imagine if elephants went aggressive? You know the Hunter Primal, if you're familiar with that? When a T-Rex walks around, your camera shakes, like the ground's shaking. They would need to do that. Should I get the M1? It's a good gun. If you don't have, like, say the 308 AR or anything like that, the M1 would be a good choice. Anyway, I think that's going to be our last kill. So sad to say, no diamonds again. This is, I think, 2 out of our last 3 Medved moose grind streams. We've shot a level 5 troll moose at that exact lake. No diamonds, no rares. Such is life. But yeah, I'm looking forward to things kind of getting back to normal here in the next couple of weeks. Still got a little time until it's truly back to normal, but nice to be streaming at the normal time. I don't even know the last time we got to do like a regular 3 o'clock stream on Monday, but yeah, hopefully we can stream on Friday. That stream may be an hour early. Depends on how hunting goes for the rest of the week. I'll make an announcement when we get to that. Other than that, we should be kind of having our schedule go back to what it normally is outside of when we travel for the holidays. So anyway, that's going to do it for this stream. As always, thank you guys for watching it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the support today. And I will see you in tomorrow's video. A little classic hunt on Timbergold Trails full of big males. Bye!